Good evening and welcome to another community forum. Of course, I'm your host, Byron Campbell, and co-host Chris Diali. Chris, something's missing from you tonight.
Good evening, viewers and listeners. And of course, Byron is in his colors celebrating independence. I'm not. So when he's upset, I should have something red in my pocket.
Yeah, Chris, and I came actually prepared for you for that, So I have something to add to you. Let me put it on, Chris. So there you go, Chris. I mean, you could fix it, but Chris has to show some kind of national color tonight. You can't just,
I have no problem with that.
This dark color. I mean, it's our anniversary, Chris. We are celebrating, and that tells you something.
And red is my favorite color.
Is it? So you see, I bought a natural color. I didn't bring green or yellow for you, Chris. I brought red.
Neutral.
A neutral color.
I accept it.
And our guest later on will be talking celebrations. We're talking independence. But Chris, let's start with the fishing situation. I mean, let me allow you to introduce this.
Yeah, I mean, we just had Billfish tournament completed in Grenada. And part of the concerns raised in some of the boats that partook in the competition, first of all, it was the lowest, as far as I'm aware, in terms of participating boats in this tournament. So the organizers need to relook what they're doing and how they're doing it to keep it as big as. There were times when we used to have more than 60 boats and moving to get 75. Now we in the 30s. So that is something they have to look at. But outside of that, the guys who went fishing and doing the long line fishing is saying that it appears that the fish stock is also being affected. They're taking longer to get, they have to go out further to get hits and so on. And I think, it is appropriate. And I mean, we could talk about environmental changes, temperature changes, what in the water, the fish move out and they do different things. I think we need to encourage a study to be done to understand how good our fish stocks are, because it's a major industry for us. Just as how we do, and we put temporary bans on sea egg and lambi and so on, I think we need to see how we can institute something to protect and grow the fish stocks better.
Chris,
an area that I think regards concern.
Chris, what you're saying is absolutely correct. Eastern Caribbean as a whole, longline fishers are going further out, some 30 or 50 miles further out to catch the high value fish. And we're talking here about the blue marlin, the swordfish, dolphin fish, what we call mai-mai. And this is driven by a combination of factors, Chris. We looked it up that it is driven by climate change. As the water gets hotter in the south, some of those migratory fishes want to be in the cooler water, so they're heading more north. You have also decline in coastal resources. Now, we've been overfishing our near coast fishes, and so there is less of that significantly. And additionally, we have the migratory behavior of fishes are changing also, again, because of climate change. So we have a major issue. So I agree with you that we need to clearly study this, and the OECS fisheries, there's an OECS fisheries body, and they have done good work. They have the studies. They have new techniques that they are advising longliners how to use and what to use, but not all of them are using them.
Correct. And you see, so we need to be proactive and not reactive. And I know we don't like that word, proactive. And on top of that, I mean, we need to get a study done and see what the effect is going to be, short and medium. And how we could do. We have a big thing going on. Up to now, we don't know what's going on with the ban. For
exactly. But I heard the Minister of Agriculture talking about that. They're talking to Canada. They're talking to other Caribbean countries. But certainly the ban's on.
It's still on.
It's still on.
And we haven't been able to move it.
And as we talk about the fishing sector, so there's several factors here: decline in stock, no market. We have the other situation where they're now being asked to remove the boats, that is, from the Carenage because of the various factors there. It's not only unsightly, but it's dangerous, it's dirty.
It's unsafe,
so I'm agreeing to that, Chris. But the other issue is that where are they going? My thing is that, Chris, that the Port Authority, and I heard the press conference and all of that, and I'm in full support that it can't stay there. It doesn't belong there. It's dangerous. But I think the organization part of it, in other words, where do they go? What's the structure? Some of the boaters, fishers, owners are saying, look, yeah, we want to go, but where do we go? Where's the infrastructure for us to go? You're telling us, go park outside the fish market, go here. But that's a loose and ugly arrangement just the same. I don't think that's a complete solution, Chris.
Well, I mean, I haven't heard Port Authority's side in terms of saying that they may have suggested different sites for them
Yeah,
to go. I don't
exactly.
know. What we know for sure, that by next week, Monday,
Yes.
they have to vacate where they currently moor on the Carnage. So you would think, because Port Authority, based on my understanding, was given a mandate that to move them and also given a mandate to say, suggest possible sites where they need to move.
But the site suggested seems, look, they talk about outside the fish market, talk about some Pandia area. But here's the thing, what if they all go to Grand Mall, which is a residential area where people use the beach there, and they start being polluted? Well, what happens? We have another problem on our hands.
I mean, I suppose we need to get Port Authority here to have a conversation.
Yeah, Chris.
You understand?
I agree.
And
Fine. So
understand what's
we'll
going on.
move on. Chris, our Prime Minister is in Dubai, UAE, United Arab Emirates, to attend a World Government Summit. I think this is the 26th. This is something that the Emirates put on every year. It's an annual event financed by them to showcase themselves. It provides, I looked this up, a significant strategic, economic, and geopolitical benefit to the UAE. It serves as a platform to accelerate their economic diversification. Their goals, they're attracting international leaders to accelerate their economic diversification. What we have to understand that this conference is for them. They've designed it to showcase themselves. So the question is, our Prime Minister is already under extreme pressure for being out of the island too often. How is this justified? Of course, it's paid entirely by the Emirates.
Costing us.
And it's
costing us in time,
and it's a gold
not
and
money.
silver and red carpet. I mean, it's posh, Chris, you know. You would like to attend, I'm sure.
Well, you know, I don't enjoy long travels.
No, okay.
But outside of that,
Yeah.
I think the government announced that the Prime Minister will be engaged in bilaterals
Yeah.
to get some agreements signed, whether it's MOUs or whatever the government is looking to get out of this conference.
Yeah.
I think there is nothing wrong in him attending if he could bring back the goods. What we need is, I think the United Arab Emirates gave them 20 or 30 million for Polaris. So I could be wrong, but
That's the
the hospital project, Polaris.
Yeah.
So they got 30
the
million.
Kuwait is not a Kuwait fund. It's the OPEC fund.
Right. So they have, you know, and the Prime Minister is probably looking for funding for this major project, and he has bilaterals to, so nothing is wrong with that. And it's not financed by us. So I don't think it is negative from that point of view, but let's see what comes out.
Yeah, and to add, Chris, I mean, there is probably as much as 3,000 to 6,000 attendees, and they'll be engaging in high-level dialogue on critical global issues also.
Yeah.
So I agree with you.
Environmental as well.
Let's see
What happens?
what we get
Yeah,
from
what we
it.
get from
Clearly here, okay. Chris, staying with the Prime Minister, because at least the Minister for Infrastructure, because he is in fact the Minister responsible, and we know that recently it was announced that there was a new strategy for financing a number of large infrastructural projects. It's called Design, Build and Finance, or DBF. It's a new approach to project management or financing and all of it. But what are the pros and cons, if you could examine some of this,
Well, I mean,
this approach, Chris?
Design, Build and Finance has been around a little while. It's not nothing new. What it does is that it puts a lot of the financial stress on the contractor that is appointed, and government will pay after. Of course, the pro for government is that a lot of funds don't get used up in these infrastructural projects, and the Prime Minister announced 4 major roads that will be used, that will be repaired and redone on that type of principle, design, build and finance. So the pro, of course, is that the government doesn't have to find the finance up front.
Yeah.
Right, and go to loans or grants and beg to get it. The contractor have to do it. Of course, the immediate con is, of course, who on the government side is going to be monitoring the quality of the work and the design that is being done and presented for restructure. Our major roads have two problems. Main one, they're not designed for the tonnage of the vehicles that is currently using them, and the drainage issue. When rain fall, how water stays or not stay on the road, which deteriorates the road faster, and of course the quality of the asphaltic mix that is used. So those are major concerns for medium to long-term life of the roads that is heavily used. So those are the areas that the government have to have the requisite people and testing equipment to test to make sure that it's being designed and built accordingly.
One of the things you touched on this, Chris, is in other words, private firms borrow money at higher interest rates than government. So these higher financial costs is going to pass on to the government, the taxpayer. So expect it to be more expensive.
Yes.
That's the first thing, right?
Of course, if you design it for heavier tonnage, it's going to cost you more.
The other thing is the procurement process for DBF projects, as it's called, is highly complex, involving extensive legal, financial, and technical advisory fees. And very often, Chris, you have, and the World Bank has written about this, I determine, in a way discouraging this approach, particularly for small islands development state, because of the complexity and the legal issue that emerges from it. And they have less loss of control and flexibility. That is, we don't have this in these type of projects.
Because they
rigidity to change. So it's very complex, and it's something, Chris, that I think we should be examined more carefully before we go into this. I know that governments go into this, and probably this is the case, as you mentioned. If you have a cash flow issue and you want to get things done, then you get it done and you pay later.
Yeah, and that is what I was saying. We have to be careful of the design presented and who on our side is looking at that and protecting us on that side. And that is key. We don't have these details. We have a particular company in Grenada now that is doing a lot of infrastructure work for the government, building schools and so on. And you also have to question, if that company gets it, because they're building an asphaltic plant as well. So you get a sense that they're positioning themselves to get these contracts. And then you have to understand the financing aspect, the legal thing, and where is government going to be protected if something goes wrong.
Sure.
We had a road built in True Blue, and if you traverse that road now, after it was done for the CARICOM summit, you're seeing a lot of defects in the road, waves and this and that, which speaks to the quality of the
That's
work.
another point, technical and quality risk. So quality versus trade-off. So you had to look at, but one of the things the World Bank is saying a lot, that there's budgetary rigidity, that these projects often lock governments into long-term repayment commitments, which reduces future budgetary flexibility. So I wish, Chris, there was some dialogue on this before, but there seems to be a decision going forward. So we just want to point out.
When we passed the budget, we gave the government the authority to go and look for $100 million in loan financing and other financing. So probably we will hear a blend. We don't know, but the Prime Minister announced it, and let's see what happens.
Chris, a bit of the politics now. We observe that all the political parties, the three political parties, the main political parties, the movement, the NNP, NDC, are all announcing potential candidates.
Not potential candidates, they announced candidates.
Announced candidates. I mean, NNP announced
no longer
9.
caretakers.
No longer caretakers, So should we expect an election?
Well, I mean, we're looking at you're looking at the parties ramping up what they're doing with the candidates to introduce candidates to the public. Apart from the caretaker, there are no candidates that is going to be running in the particular constituencies. That's a major shift. In other words, they had them as caretakers. They looked at them. They like what they were doing as caretakers, and they now have officially endorsed them as candidates, which says something about the people that they have endorsed. What I like and what I'm seeing is generally is a lot of young people, male and female, who are attracted now to the politics, and that's a good thing for the country, because we have had a lot of elder statesmen, and the time, in my view, has passed, and now is to pass it on.
They need to
so
move
the
on.
succession planning is good from that point of view for the parties, and that is positive for our politics. Of course, I believe these young people will bring a different type and blend to what we do. For example, I'm hoping to see debates, at various times.
In the upcoming election.
In the upcoming elections. And when you look at that and you look at what is happening at the electoral office, the staff in the electoral office was just put under some training, strategic training, to get them ready. And they're buying a new system for the registration, the computer system. So they're all ramping up from that side. So
Yeah.
you get a sense that the Prime Minister is probably looking to have this election this year instead of 2027 when it's constitutionally due. And, you're hearing rumors about June or October and so on. So I think when you look from the NDC point of view, if he gets his projects on his roads going in April, as he announced, that he wants these projects, these major road projects to start in April, and he wants to break ground for Polaris in May, June, or before, the issue is, would that help the party to get the support of the general public based on what the government is projecting here in terms of work and money flow in the economy
Right.
and so on.
Chris,
So,
I hear you, but are you willing to take a bet? There's no election this year?
yeah, taking a bit.
Good. No election this year. Election will be in 2027,
Okay.
as projected. Yeah.
And if I win the bet, I want 6 months of fruits.
That's fine, Chris. That's on. No problem. Chris, final thing we have, something you've complained about, parking on Sundays, the churches in particular.
Yeah.
What are you observing? Are
Yeah.
they disrupting traffic on Sundays?
Yeah, I find,
Seen this?
I could give an example of Marianne, for example.
Yeah.
Marianne have 4 churches. As you enter Marianne from the Calavini side, there's one right there.
Yeah.
And to the middle, there's
Yeah.
another one.
Mm.
As you go up the big corner, there's a bigger church there, and of course the Catholics is right at the top.
Yeah.
Just before. My issue is that I have no problems in you worshiping when you want. This is not the issue. The issue is, when you look at it over the years, the transition, most people over the years would have walked to church.
Yeah.
Now we all drive into
Church, yes.
and then you have to find park.
Yeah.
And the park is limited, and they will congest the road.
Yeah.
Because they'll park on double side
Yeah,
of the roads,
yeah.
or they take a whole side and there's only one side
Yeah.
available. So, I mustn't be inconvenienced as a user of the road
Yeah.
because you want to worship in a certain way. So I'm suggesting
Yeah.
that we look at how we could carpool
Yeah.
or bus people in to reduce the amount of parking on the road. And something that I think the religious organizations that have this concern of so much vehicles being there
Yeah.
to worship, that they must look at to be reasonable for other users. And the major issue is, what if we have an emergency and the fire engine or the ambulance needs to get, and sometimes some of the churches will have traffic wardens there, not the police traffic wardens, but their own internal traffic, which helps. But at the same time, a lot of them don't.
Yeah.
If we took a church on Market Hill, and the congestion of the parking is really significant.
So we hope they're listening. Chris, the final matter now in our talking point. Cannabis legislation. So finally, the upper house passed this legislation to decriminalize cannabis, marijuana. Do you think that the systems for control or for upholding the law, this new law, it's a new law, is in place? Are you satisfied things are in place?
No. Let me first of all say I support the decriminalization. I don't think if you get caught with one spliff in your pocket, you should have a criminal record for the rest of your life.
Right.
So I have no issues with that aspect of it. My issue here is, from a business point of view, what is the advantage of this act? I don't see much. And I will give you an example. If you're not allowed to smoke in public and you smoke in your house, no problem with that, with the act. But you could imagine you smoking on a Sunday and you have to come to my job on a Monday and you have to drive a forklift, and I'm not certain of your situation physically, if you can handle the use of my forklift, because it might still be high, I don't know. And if I test you,
Yeah.
as some companies are looking for drugs, whether
Yeah.
it's alcohol or this,
Yeah.
you're not allowed.
Yeah.
I'm sending you home to recover because you
Because it's
pose
still
a
in your
danger, there's a
system.
major
Yeah.
risk.
Yeah.
It's still in your system.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of concerns I think we haven't paid good attention to. And then what resources are we giving the police to enforce the regulations that will come with this act?
Mm-hmm.
How do you monitor somebody who is 18 that shouldn't be
Using
there,
the
using and so on?
substance, yeah.
And how do we do that?
Yeah.
And what is going to happen if we find them?
Yeah.
And if you, Byron, are allowed to plant 4 trees
Yeah.
Who regulating you and the 4 trees? Suppose you plant 10.
Well, they might have inspection, I suppose, because
Right,
you
because you have to get a license.
Yeah, you have to get a license.
Right, and you suppose you have to follow.
And the other thing is, how many people are going to really go get a license for 4 trees? And also,
because you can't distribute it for personal
exactly,
use.
but is this a business opportunity also? Because Rennick and Thompson may be selling seeds. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think we have lost
so
the business side because
Yeah.
St. Vincent is way ahead of us, Jamaica
Yeah.
is way ahead, and so on. So
this is our second stage when we come to the commercialization.
That's right.
As an industry.
And how we do it.
But clearly, Chris, the Rastafarian community are satisfied.
and no problem with that. I'm
With
happy for
this,
them because they
yeah.
have been pegging at this for years
Yeah.
because it's more religious and social
Yeah,
for them.
for them, yeah.
And nothing is wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know?
Chris, that's all the time we have for our, how do we call this segment, Chris? A point of view. Viewers, stay with us when we come back. We'll be talking independence celebration. It's a big deal for us, and we're going to have the chairperson of the celebrations committee, Ms. Jackie Alexis. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Holy Natural Spring Water is a water for every occasion. On the field of sports, at your workplace, just open the bottle and savor the pure, refreshing taste. Holy Natural Spring Water is produced in Mama Can St. Andrews and is available in all sizes nationwide. To order, telephone 444-7654 or 533-7654. Holy Natural Spring Water, Grenada's purest bottled water.
My name is Liselle Walcott. I am a staff nurse at the General Hospital for the past 16 years. At the Infection Control Department, we do surveillance for communicable diseases or hospital-acquired infections. We do outbreak investigations. So any issues we have, we would investigate it, find out the cause, and we would do recommendations and interventions to all relevant departments. Thus far, with Mount Sinai, we are looking at ways of improving hand hygiene. Hand hygiene has been proven to be one of the most important practices you could do to break the chain of infection. Working along with Mount Sinai, I foresee that it will be a very good thing for us. They are looking into the products that we use, the practices that we do. Going forward, we'll be able to achieve a very high level of compliance and safety across the board for everyone.
At Maitland's Motor Sales and Rentals, we sell engines for all makes of vehicles. Toyota GT Corolla 6-speed, Toyota MR2 and Evolution 3. We've got transmissions for Toyota Noah, 2.0 Suzuki Escudo, Toyota Corolla. Windscreens for Grand Vitara, 2 and 4-door Escudo, Toyota Corolla front and back, and Suzuki Escudo wheel covers. Also available are motor oil, oil filters, crystal headlights for Toyota Corolla, brakes for all makes of vehicles. We sell C16 and Q16 racing fuel. Special prices on oils and accessories for customers who purchase vehicles from us. You're never left undone because we source the part if we don't have it. Maitland's Motor Sales and Rentals, empowering people through mobility.
Welcome back, viewers. And as indicated earlier on, we have Ms. Jackie Alexis. She's, of course, the chairperson of the National Celebrations Committee. Good evening, Ms. Alexis. Welcome to MTV Community Forum. We are not hearing you. We are not hearing you. Is your microphone on? Because she's coming to us via Zoom. No, we are not, Chris. We are not getting.
You're not hearing me.
We're not hearing. Okay. Hello, Ms. Alexis. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear
Okay, great, and we can hear you now. So we are saying welcome to MTV Community Forum, and it's our pleasure to have you tonight to talk about all the celebrations. Certainly starting with our 50. Grenada is, of course, 52 years independent. But as some people says, independence is not a party, it's a test. Tonight we test how far we've really come and whether our national celebration speaks honestly to the people. So welcome, and let's start by telling us what is happening as we speak right now. What is this week about, and how is it going in a general way?
This week plans are ongoing for Friday and Saturday, obviously Saturday being the big day, but also Friday is National Colours Day, so it's the day we invite the whole country to come out in your colours, in your outfits. There's some wonderful, colourful outfits out there, so come out in all your colours and all your glory and celebrate. And Friday evening is the Cultural Extravaganza, which is an annual event that we hold in Grenville at the bus terminal, which is always a very, very nice event, always well attended. So we're looking forward to that. And then Saturday, of course, is the big day.
Great. Yeah, one of the things, because we talk to people, a lot of Grenadians feel independence celebrations are something they watch. They stay home, they watch it on TV, or they understand what's up. Not something they shape. How are ordinary people genuinely involved this year?
Well, certainly with at the beginning of the month, we started our beautification campaign. So there are a lot of communities out there right now and have been throughout January, clearing up, planting, painting, decorating and beautifying their villages and their communities. And that's something, I know is important to a lot of people. Every year people are calling, can we get buntings? Can we get some paint? Can we get this? Can we get this? We know that it's very popular. So that's ongoing throughout the month.
Okay,
and then we've had several activities. Sorry.
No, you go ahead, please.
So yes, we've had several activities that have happened throughout January. We've had the semi-finals and finals of the Independent Song Competition. This is something, again, which is an annual event, as you would know. It's very popular, always a lot of participation from our artistic community. And then the semi-finals and the finals themselves are always well attended by our communities and our citizens. So we know that they're popular, and we know that people are waiting for those events.
Well, congratulations on that.
Year,
congratulations on that, because the feedback is that the rivalry was on par with the Mardi Gras, and the participation was very good. So excellent.
Yes, the participation was excellent, and the songs were very good this year. We actually included 4 additional artists to the competition. Usually in the finals we've had 10, we've increased it to 14. Okay. And the artistic community really do participate in this and look forward to it. So that it was a wonderful show we had on Saturday. And we have another female monarch this year. Yeah. So very nice.
Excellent.
Also this year we introduced a new event, which is for our young people, a way of us trying to engage the youth of the nation far more in independence and learning about independence and finding the way to continue the legacies that are left, so that when we're all dead and gone, we know the young people of this nation are going to continue that. So we had at Montrouge on the 24th of January our Youth Expo Day, and it was an opportunity for young entrepreneurs to come out and showcase their products, their arts and crafts, whatever it is that's important to them that they wanted to showcase. We also had a lot of artists, so we had a stage and we had a lot of young artists performing. So this is the first time we've done that. The participation was very good. We want to try and build on that, and we will hold this event again next year, because we felt that the need is obviously there just by the response of the young people.
I'm really happy to hear this, because my question to you was going to be, how are young people involved beyond performances? And you've gone into that, so that is very, 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 very positive
Yes, I want to
information.
congratulate, I want
Chris,
to
you go
congratulate the
ahead.
committee on that youth involvement thing, because when I saw it and I looked at what was being done and the highlighting of our young people with their talents and their creativity and so on, I thought that was excellent. And I believe that it sends the message of what we're trying to say for celebration of independence.
Yeah.
And as Mr. Alexis just indicated, once we could get them to be interested and offer themselves from an independence or also outside independence, but having the youth involved, I thought was a good mix, Mr. Alexis, and I congratulate you and your committee. Because, one of the things I thought as a side event that lent to the celebration was All Long Fest that was put on
Yeah.
by
And Pearls.
GBN,
Yes.
which I'm told, I didn't get a chance to go, but I told it was a very good attendance.
Yeah.
And a lot of the culinary part of independence through All Long is a big part of the whole thing. And I thought, probably we could look at what culinary we could do to highlight independence. Apart from what is going to be done on Saturday in the stadium, is there any consideration of that by your committee?
I'm sorry, I'm not really hearing you very well. You keep cutting out, but I think you're asking me about the involvement from a culinary point of view.
Yes,
Is that what you're asking?
that is correct, yes. Apart from
Right.
what is going to happen in the
Right,
stadium
okay,
on
so-
Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, culinary isn't something we've gone into in any depth. Obviously, in inviting the young entrepreneurs to participate in the Youth Expo, that was an opportunity for them to. I mean, we had young people who came with cupcakes and different products. So that is one thing. I think that the culinary is another big area. And if you're going to do it, you'll have to make sure you're going to do it well. I mean, something like the GBN Oil Down Fest has now become a popular event. So it's, if you like, it's being covered and it happens during the independence season, if you like. I think maybe the committee could collaborate more with GBN on this particular event. To help it to grow and develop and see how we can, how we can make it big better.
One of the
From the committee's perspective, it's not something we've delved into.
Right. One of the concerns I have, not concern, but for the challenge for the committee, this is 52. And we tend to celebrate things like 55 and 60 and do activities that reflect the movement. How do we keep the interest, apart from doing the dressing up of the nation, painting the stones, painting the sidewalks, and doing other things, inviting businesses to dress up? How do we keep the interest as we move from 52 to 53 to 54? How do we keep that interest so that every time we celebrate, there's something special or new about 53? What is it the committee is looking in the medium term to keep that interest alive?
Well, each year we try our best to bring something new and something different, and to ensure that what we do has everything that we do appeals to somebody. So so the whole introduction of the Youth Expo was about appealing to our young people. So, and we also have the primary school history bowl competition, which we started last year. We did again this year, which is making sure that we're bringing our younger generation, our primary school children, and teaching them about our history. And so the Independence History Competition was held in all the districts, and then culminated with the finals at the Trade Centre on the 29th, and it was won by Granroy Government Primary School. So again, this is our way of ensuring that we are teaching our younger generation our history and maintaining that, that in years to come our heritage will be continued.
So, Mr. Alexis,
As I said, as we sit, yes.
Yeah, as chairman of the celebrations committee, Your budget for the 50th celebration, obviously, I am assuming, I don't know what your budget for the 52nd was. Are you satisfied that you're getting enough resources to finance the activities that you're planning? Because, I mean, for example, 50, we had a lot of things. We had lights on the carronage, all sorts of things happening at 50. What is the budget being given to you by government to help in the celebrations, from your perspective, adequate enough to put on different events, as you say, primary school and other things, that is going to keep the interest alive?
Yes, I believe so. Obviously, we don't have the budget that we had for the 50th.
Yes.
It was a special year, and you wouldn't expect to see that every year. Maybe at the 60th, we might get something like that again. I probably wouldn't be around then, so somebody else's deal. But I am satisfied with the budget that we are being given, and I am satisfied with the support that is always forthcoming from the seniors at the ministry, because I mean the committee is separate. It's, if you like, independent from the ministry. It has several different independent committee members on it, but the support is there from the Minister of Culture, Tourism, the Creative Economy and Culture. That's the Honourable Senator Adrian Thomas. And the PS in that ministry also is very supportive. So I think, yes, I think for the time being, we are being well financed and well supported.
My final question to you at this point is a little divergence from independence. Does the National Celebrations Committee part of, say, what we just witnessed in Carriacou, Lambi and Lobster Fest, which I am told was very successful and is going to be now an annual event? I know it's supported by GTA, but does National Celebrations come under, or that fall under the National Celebrations Committee?
So it's an interesting question that you asked, because this has been something that the minister has talked about since he became minister under this ministry, about how we utilize the expertise that we have on the NCC. The NCC has been a committee that has come together, 2 months, 3 months, if that, before Independence or before Thanksgiving, plans the event, and then literally don't see each other again until the next event is due, which has primarily been Thanksgiving and Independence. But since the introduction of National Heroes Day as well, the committee has had to meet more often. So it has just recently been given cabinet approval for the committee to be a year-round committee, and for it to focus on the festivals. So, for instance, the Emancipation Day now is a national holiday. So the National Celebrations Committee will take the lead on celebrations for emancipation. And other festivals will come under, will be under our mandate. And while it hasn't all been fine-tuned yet, I'm not, Carriacou may be involved, but Carriacou also has its own committees. So, we have to be careful how that would all happen.
No.
But certainly for other festivals, Cameroon Festival, African Liberation Day, these kinds of things as they go on, the National Celebrations Committee would have far more responsibility.
Positive move, I think.
For what is produced, yeah.
I am aware that, celebrations, to celebrate, you have fun, you have events, but beyond shows and ceremonies, is there a national conversation at this time about Grenada's future? Like, isn't independence, is this time used to discuss governance, the economy, the climate, or justice? Should there be citizens forums or youth assemblies and national dialogue during this period? Or are we avoiding difficult questions by just celebrating instead. You understand the point I'm making, Mr. Alexis?
I do understand the point you're making, and I think this is partly why the minister wanted us to be a year-round committee, so that we could look at other areas. Because obviously, if you're only meeting 3 months before independence, basically all you're really doing is planning Independence Day itself, right? So you're not looking deeper. You're not looking outside of the box and having other events that would look at things like, the governance of it, all of these other areas of debate and so on. So this is an opportunity now with making it a year-round committee for us to start to bring other elements in.
We still, Grenada that is, we still operate on a constitution largely designed by the British colonial government. Not largely, but designed by the British colonial government. Can a country truly be independent under a colonial constitutional framework?
Well, I mean, this is a question you really need to ask the Prime Minister. I mean, are we talking about going down the road of becoming a republic? Is this where we're headed? I can't.
Or let me ask you another way. Is independence something we declared or something we postponed? I mean,
something we declared or something we postponed.
Is there political fear of empowering citizens? I don't know, but this is probably beyond your mandate. I understand.
Well, I think so.
Okay, that's fine. So I will leave this there. But I want to go to the issue of national heroes. 2 years ago, or there about 3 years, government acquired land at Grand Anse for a National Heroes Park. We were told there would be a process to determine national heroes. 2 years later, no heroes, no criteria, no public process. Why? The facilities are now being used to like a market. Saltfish, whatever is available. Why? Because this was clearly, we have celebrated National Heroes Days. Who? Okay, you go ahead, please. I'm confused at this end. So you go ahead, please, ma'am.
Well, I wasn't aware it was being used for anything. My understanding is there is an architectural drawing up there now that is being worked on in terms of the development of the park itself. So whilst work may not have begun yet, they're certainly in the planning process. So the park will be developed.
What about the criteria to decide who are going to be determined as national heroes? And we haven't seen that yet come out, and we haven't, as Byron said, more than 2-3 years now. Is there work being done by your committee or any committee surrounding that aspect of a celebration?
Right. There is another committee that is responsible for the development of Heroes Park and how that rolls out. As I said, if you go past there now, you can see the architectural drawing is there already. So work is happening in terms of the planning process. My understanding is that once that they start to develop the park, then they will start to look at, naming the heroes. But I think we have to be very careful about this thing about, we haven't named heroes and we need to name heroes. And at the end of the day, you can't be naming heroes every year. That's one thing. Because if you get into a point where you're naming heroes every year, you're going to run out of heroes. It has to be very clear. And there has to be a criteria for what constitutes a hero. What is a real hero? Are we talking about an Eric Gary, or are we talking about a Maurice Bishop? Who are we talking about? We're talking about a Kirani James. So there has to be proper criteria set. And
it doesn't have to be politicians.
No, I agree with you. But this is not you, but I think, and this is not you specifically, but clearly, 2 years ago we dropped the ball, and maybe it's political sensitivity or administrative failure, we're not sure, or we're afraid as a country of debating who should be a hero or who shouldn't be a hero. but we're
Well, I
not
think
sure.
that the debate has to happen, and I'm sure that government want to have the stakeholder consultations and so on to make sure that we get it right.
So-
but as I said, at the end of the day, the criteria has to be there, and we have to decide as
Yeah,
a
but-
country
yeah.
what constitutes a hero.
Yes, I agree. But at 52 years celebrating our anniversary, we can't if we can't honor our heroes, what exactly are we celebrating?
Yeah, but I mean, is it that we want to celebrate every 50 years? So, as Mr. Alexis is indicating, we can't do a hero every year.
No, but we need to identify who our heroes are. No, not annually, but that's going back.
Yeah, I mean,
in
at
our history.
52, we
Yeah.
should be able to identify some people that could be considered
Yeah.
based on the criteria that is going to be put forward.
Yeah.
And I hope it's not only politicians, because we have a lot of people
Well,
in the society that have
maybe
contributed
this-
significantly.
Maybe this is something that government would want to look at by Heroes Day this year. I haven't been given that indication yet, but we have time for that to happen.
Of course.
Yeah, so let's go back to, this is tell us about the big event is, of course, on Saturday. Our Prime Minister is
On
out.
Saturday.
I assume he'll be back. But
No,
tell us a bit about what the expectations are. What is the program like on the big day itself?
Right. So obviously we have the standard military parade, the official ceremonies with the Governor General and the Prime Minister and all of that. All of those standard elements are in place, and that you have to do them. That's protocol that we have to do those. Early on in the day, we start at 12 with the trade expo, and there'll be lots of different vendors, arts, crafts, agro processing, all of these different people showcasing and selling and displaying their goods. They start from 12. And at 1:30, as people are arriving, we wanted to have something happening for them. So we have the young people from Intercol last year, those who won the March Past. We have 5 groups, male and female, who will be doing a March Past display for us before the arrival of the military parade. And then the military parade will arrive at 2:15-ish, somewhere around there, and prepare for the arrival of the Commissioner, the Prime Minister, and of course the Governor General. All the official ceremonial activities will take place. That should finish at around 5 o'clock, and then we'll move into the rally. The military parade is going to end, we're very excited about this actually, it's going to end with the Guyanese Defence Force paratroopers, who are going to be paratrooping into the stadium. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that part of it and hoping they land in the stadium. So that should excite. Well, I wasn't here before, but I do hear that in the past they've landed on the stadium rather than in it, and in various other places.
Yes.
We're looking forward to that. We think the audience would enjoy that. And then we move into a rally. The keynote speaker will be the Prime Minister this year. I believe that usually he would give a message to the nation, but I believe that his intention this year is to focus a lot on the geopolitical climate and the impact for, Grenada and the region, really. So he will give the keynote speech this year. Of course, we have some cultural activities and so on, and we also have a light show and a fireworks display.
A light show. Tell us about the light show. Is that we
Yes.
expect that the lights in the stadium would be turned on
I'm not giving.
for the first
I'm not giving
time?
away anything. But this has been the first time, and it's a new element that is now
Right.
encased in the stadium that they have the ability to do. So we're waiting. We'll
I
see.
saw the testing.
You'll see that.
I saw the testing. In the testing, Chris,
You saw the testing.
there were
Yeah, you saw
national
the
colors
testing.
flashing across the roof of the building. It looks beautiful. I mean, that was.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a special guest? I think last time we had who? Dangote. Who did we have last year? Oh, any special
We
guests
did have
this year?
Dangote 2 years ago. Yes. We don't have a regional guest or an international guest this year, although we are expecting that we may have one or two of the regional prime ministers in. And if they are, we would give them the opportunity to bring great greetings from their islands. But the prime minister will be giving the keynote speech this year.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, that's great. You're already trying to get me to come to the stadium this year, Miss Alexis, to celebrate and
Well, I think
to enjoy the
He's
variety.
convinced. He's convinced. He's coming.
The variety of stuff, you know. Byron push a red handkerchief from my pocket, so probably I might get there, but I am impressed
you
with.
both there.
Yeah, I'm impressed with the activities, and I'm hoping that you get the support from the nationals and people to come to the stadium on Saturday and enjoy and experience.
Well, I hope so. They have no excuse. There's free buses right across the island.
Oh, there's free buses.
So they
Oh, wow.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, there's free
yes.
buses. That's
Every
important
year.
information.
Every year. Yes, every
Yeah.
year we provide free transportation for the citizens who wish to come to the stadium. And of course, thousands will come with their own vehicles and so on.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
if
a
you know
good
you
thing,
don't
Chris.
have transportation, it's there.
Beautiful.
And is there any special consideration given for the elderly, so they could come and partake and experience what it is we're doing at 52? Something that
Actually, right.
a
We
special
have somebody
space
this
or
year.
For persons like myself.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have a special space for wheelchair access for
Right.
for any of our citizens in wheelchairs,
Okay.
and for some of our elderly. So there's a special area there,
Excellent.
and there'll be volunteers who will be on the outside, who are able to identify anyone who arrives with a wheelchair and can direct them accordingly and so on.
We are coming close to the end of the program, and I have this question for you before we close. If a young Grenadian, a young person asks tonight that are listening, what does independence really mean for my future? What is your honest answer to this?
Well, my honest answer is that we have control over us. We have control over our country, over how we move forward as a country. And I think, I myself had to write a message, and will be delivering a message on Saturday. And one of the things that I want to highlight is, this thing of we are our own. We have to be our own keepers. We have to look to the future. We have to stride towards it. Not allow outside forces to knock us down or to make us look at each other in any negative light. We move forward positively as an island with independence, meaning that we control our destiny.
Ms. Alexis, that is a hot debate now, based on the geopolitical things that's happening and,
I know.
and the weaponizing of those big nations who are acting as bullies. But we'll leave that apart. And I think...
Well, no, absolutely, and that's why I say what I say, and that's
Yeah.
why
I
I
know.
say what I'm going to say.
Yeah, and I believe we have to still focus on ourselves and what we could do good and even better as we move ahead, whether it's under independence banner or not. But we have to continue to fight for our sovereignty and our special way we do things.
Absolutely.
For our culture and so on,
And I
preserve
think,
that.
as much as I think as much as our young people sometimes think, life's better in the big countries, the UKs and the USs and the Canadas and stuff. Actually, I was born and raised in the UK, and look where I am. And,
Yeah.
This.
And based on what's going on in weather in the US and so on, they're happy to be here. I think we have a lot of good things. We just don't boast about it enough.
Well, exactly. But
We're
I
out of
want our young
time. We're out of
people
time.
to see-
What are your final comments? And we'll give you the opportunity to.
My final comment is I want our young people to see the benefits of staying in Grenada and working towards improving life for Grenadians. And yes, you can go and study outside, but come back here and let's develop and grow Grenada together.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank
You're
you.
the final.
We have a
Mr.
lot to
Alexis.
offer.
And I wish you all the success for Saturday. But more so, I think the changing up of NCC to become a year-round committee working on the various festivities is an excellent move, and I commend yourself and the government for making that move, and I hope it can grow and give us the kind of recognition for our young people in particular, for them to understand the history and why we celebrating what we're celebrating.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, and
Thank you.
thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you both tonight.
Thank
Of
you very
course.
much for being here. And we want to tell all of you, certainly all local persons, to come out on Saturday, you know, join the celebrations.
We want to make sure the Guyanese fall inside the stadium.
Yes, that's important. Viewers, that's
Fall
all the
inside the
time.
stadium.
That's all the time we have. We want to thank our technical team, MTV management. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Enjoy your independence. Bye-bye.
You've arrived in paradise. You felt the rhythm. Now let's make sure you say it right.
Hey, my name is Florian. I'm from the beautiful Aida Perla cruise ship. So today, like we Germans say, we are in Grenada. But I heard in English it's called Grenada.
Say it right. Grenada.
Say it right.
Grenada.
That's right. Grenada. There we go.
Say it right. It's Grenada.